weekly Bitcoin news. This is This Week in Bitcoin. Today's date is August 21st, 2020, and this is a part of our Adoption Bitcoin news series. So you'll notice I'm out here in the sunshine. Today I decided to bring it outside. Hopefully if you're sitting inside and you're watching this, you'll be able to kind of enjoy the outdoors, ignore any of the plane sounds you hear. I've got my special Bitcoin moon glasses on. These sunglasses only come out during bull markets, and as we'll talk about in today's update, looks like Bitcoin is continuing through the bull market, so we're feeling like golden sunshine. I hope you're enjoying your summer. I definitely am. If you want more information on Bitcoin education, or if you want to subscribe to our free email newsletter to get our weekly Bitcoin news updates or Bitcoin information, you can go to adoptbitcoin.com or adoption.com, ADOBT, bitcoin.com, and you can subscribe for free to our email newsletter. Great. So this week in Bitcoin. So this was actually kind of an encouraging week. As you'll see, Warren Buffett, we'll talk about a little bit later, dropped U.S. stocks and bought gold. Bitcoin is continuing its upward price movement. The Winklevoss Twins were on with Dave the Day Trader from Barstool Sports. And also, there's a well-known investor in the space who refers to himself as Plan B, who has come up with a pricing model for Bitcoin that's really taken light, and it seems like it's actually proving out to be sound. So these are topics that we will cover in today's episode. So great, let's get to it. We'll kick it off here, the charts. And as everyone can see, Bitcoin is still continuing to make its upward movement. So the low, again, the low this year was back in March, dropped down to around 3,800. I remember my boy Jack K was on the phone with me when that happened. That was that last dumped. It didn't sit at 3,800 very long, bounced back up to 4,500 in a matter of seconds. But as you can see, we're continuing that upward channel. This is from March, April, all the way until now. And as they say, the trend is your friend, and it looks like we're continuing that upward movement. Price increase from that low in March, if you had bought in March, to now is 226%, so you would have gained 226% in profits during that time period. Next crypto that we'll talk about, this is, of course, the Adoption, the Bitcoin channel, but I also focus on privacy. Monero, also similar price increase. If you want to learn more about Monero, you can go to learnmonero.com and learn more about that. Now, what do these price movements mean? Why are they going on? Joe, okay, you tell me that it's going up in price now, but I turn on the news yesterday and it says it dropped 1,000. I turn on the news today and it says it's up 1,000. Tell me about prices. What we're starting to see now is what looks like the start of the next leg up in Bitcoin's growth. Because Bitcoin is a scarce asset like gold, there's only 21 million Bitcoin that will ever exist in the world. Just like with gold, there's only so much gold that exists in physical form. And unlike dollars, which can be created at the will of a central bank or a centralized authority, it's going to be volatile. And as more people purchase it, because it's a scarce asset, it will go up in value. This is the experiment. This is the value proposition if you're an investor, is that you're hoping that you buy now, and in the future, more people will buy then, so that your share now is worth more, and it will continue to be worth more as time goes on, assuming that people continue to buy and use Bitcoin. This is the same for gold. Many families around the world know about the value of gold because they hand it down generations and generations to their family members, because it always holds its relative value in that time in the future, and it's always worth more because of the fact that it's scarce. And there's only so much of it that exists on Earth. So now what we're seeing is Bitcoin, its last peak of its last all-time high was in the fall and winter of 2017. Everyone remembers that. It reached about 19,500, I believe. It was just under 20,000 officially here in the U.S. And then over the last 2 years, 2.5 years, it's done what it had done 4 times before that, and that is it crashes 85%, 90%, 85 to 90% over a couple year period. And then there's a consolidation portion, and then it continues its next upward movement. This growth isn't just driven from people buying this stuff. This growth is also driven from the fact that it's a protocol, it's a technology, and as time goes on, entrepreneurs come into the space, people start figuring out how to incorporate it into business models, so that it's like a self-fulfilling prophecy that if people are building on top of it, that means more of it needs to be used. And if more of it needs to be used, more of it needs to be bought off the market. And if more of it gets bought off the market, the more valuable it becomes, because it's a scarce item, and you have so much now, and in the future maybe there'll be less of it for everyone else, but you can always hold what you have. So I think this growth is also being driven from entrepreneurs coming into the space. We know now that the banking industry is on board. Steve Mnuchin, the Fed chair, just said as of 3 weeks ago that every U.S. banking institution in the United States can offer crypto custodial services for all their customers. China has committed to being the leader in blockchain technology, and they're the largest miner of Bitcoin in the world. Russia's another large miner of Bitcoin. There's a lot of Bitcoin miners right now in Argentina. So the U.S. is trying to get on board with everyone else, and they're building right now in Texas, I believe, with Peter Thiel's company. You can look that up if you're interested in that. So we're very much seeing the race now come into play, the race for nation states to accumulate as much Bitcoin as they can in these early days as a strategic advantage going forward in the future. If Bitcoin is going to be the currency of the internet, and the internet will operate on top of the Bitcoin technology, the Bitcoin protocol, because it needs to if it's going to accept Bitcoin payments, use the advantages of the technology. These nation states are now understanding that this is something that they should be reserving, and they're racing now to build the infrastructure to mine as much Bitcoin as they can or buy as much Bitcoin as they can. So this is a significant growth phase. The U.S. economy is also adding to this. The fact that we're going through the worst financial crisis since the Great Depression, and credit and debt is, the dollar is being devalued every day. So now they're having a hard time getting yield. If you're an investor, you can't get yield in bonds. You can get yield in stocks, but if stocks go down, you're screwed. So the only place that you can really get yield is now gold or Bitcoin. So now we're starting to see pension fund managers come in. We're starting to see Paul Tudor Jones, billionaire, come in. So these are things that are all driving this start of this next bull market that we're going to see explode, while there's also a recession happening at the same time. So this is the macro experiment here. This is the perfect storm, if you will. And thank God we have Bitcoin, though. Thank Satoshi we have Bitcoin. Thank you, Satoshi Nakamoto. All right, so let's take it back to the screen share here. All right, so the next thing I wanted to talk about is Plan B. Plan B, if those of you don't know who this is, you can find him on Twitter at 100 trillion USD. He has a pretty famous now, at least in the crypto space and the macro space, asset model valuation. It's the Bitcoin stock to flow asset model valuation. And essentially what he's doing is he's comparing Bitcoin and other scarce resources with how much of their existing stock is above ground compared to the flow of new inventory to that stock. And then he's creating an actual model that actually charts it out for us on a graph, so we can see what potential future valuations are based on the market cap of. There we go. Sorry, it's lagging. Here we go. So what he's doing here is he's charting this out, and he is essentially saying, if you look here, you have Bitcoin cluster 3, E-Gold, that would be here, right? And this is essentially saying that if Bitcoin was to start was to overtake or get to the size of the payments industry right now globally. This is the price that you would expect one Bitcoin to be priced at if it overtook the global payments industry. The next one up here is gold. So this is assuming if Bitcoin's market cap overtook the market cap of gold, this is what we would expect in a Bitcoin price target. And then the fourth one is as a financial asset. If Bitcoin completely overtook, it is the financial asset, it is the bonds, everything runs on top of Bitcoin, then this is the price estimate in dollar terms, relative dollar terms today of Bitcoin. So definitely something I would check out. If those of you haven't heard of Plan B, great asset. This guy is very well known, and now we're seeing, based on his actual indicators from RSI, bull market is confirmed as we see in the charts. We can see that in the charts, bull market confirmed. We could see it from his valuation. The RSI indicators red here, meaning a bullish price increase. So lots of exciting stuff going on. Definitely check out Plan B. Next important thing to talk about is Buffett drops stocks and buys gold. So this is an article from Zero Hedge. After dumping all his airlines, Buffett took a machete to his bank holdings. Only stock he added in Q2, Barrick Gold. So for those of you that don't know, Barrick Gold is a gold mining company. This is significant with what Warren Buffett's done because he's obviously idoled by many globally as the godfather or the grandpa of the investment world. Clearly, he has his opinions on gold, which he's always talked about. He's always said gold has no value. He said that Bitcoin is rat poison. Meanwhile, he has a can of Coca-Cola right in front of him during every press conference, and I use my Coca-Cola to get the rust off my golf club heads. So tell me what's rat poison, Warren Buffett. But anyways, it's important because now Buffett's betting against the U.S. economy. Warren Buffett and Berkshire for about a year and a half now have been sitting on 180 billion, I believe around 180 billion in cash. Back then, what we were wondering is, why is he selling out in cash, and what's he going to do with that cash? Because the cash isn't making any money right now. But here we learned, leading into this new year, and unfortunately the market crash indicated that maybe he had thoughts, and maybe he knew kind of where the markets were going, and he was having liquid assets, and so he could put the money in the right place once the markets drop. That's what it seems like right now. He's dropped his banking stocks, so he's betting against the banking industry in the United States. He's dropped his airline stocks, so he's betting against the airline industry right now in the United States. And he has bought a gold mining company against even what he said publicly about gold having no value. But his argument now is that because of the risks we see with inflation and the dollar, this is the time to buy gold because it's a hedge against inflation. And he's buying gold at a time where gold and precious metals are very scarce. As everyone knows, here in the U.S., we've seen signs on grocery stores for a shortage in coinage, there's a shortage in precious metals. I had been covering this on a financial newsletter I run as well, The Nonconformist. You can find us at thenonconformist.io, where we were indicating to our subscribers last fall that silver was becoming very scarce in the actual commercial markets. The actual brokerages that sell silver were already having kind of shortages in their inventory then. And this is when a lot of people were starting to accumulate at lower prices. I had known in Mexico, for example, you almost couldn't find any physical silver on the market. So coming into this new year now, because of the recession, more people are buying metals, they're buying gold, they're buying silver. So there's actually not much of it to sell on the open market. And the only way to get more of this stuff is to have people sell it, or you have to dig it out of the ground. And if they're not selling it because they're hoarding it, because there's a recession going on and they're maintaining their wealth and value, then you have to rely on the mining companies to mine it out of the ground. This is where you see a lot of the stock appreciation in the mining stocks as well, gold miners, silver miners. So Warren Buffett's actually, as a value investor, as he says, now he sees value in mining companies because mining companies will be relied on going forward if people are going to want to preserve their wealth in metals, and those stocks are probably going to go up quite a bit, and he's going to have a large influence in that industry now. So if you want to check out the company that he invested in, again, it was Barrick Gold. Barrick Gold. All right, and the last fun thing to get into here is the Winklevoss Twins go public. Winklevoss Twins go public. So those that don't know the Winklevoss Twins, if you've ever heard The Social Network, the movie, these guys essentially came up with the Facebook idea. The story goes that Mark Zuckerberg kind of stole it from him after he asked them to work for him. The Winklevoss Twins settled with Mark Zuckerberg back in the day for a lot of money, undisclosed. And the story goes is that the Winklevoss Twins actually took their money and they dumped it into Bitcoin, actually. And they were very early investors. They own over 1% of the Bitcoin supply now. They're early entrepreneurs in the space. So the Winklevoss Twins have made out pretty well since Facebook. But what's happened most recently is definitely significant, because this is large for the millennial crowd as well. But those that do not know, Dave P. here is the president of Barstool Sports. Barstool Sports, of course, being a media company. He's been doing a Day of the Day Trader section lately, and he's been getting a lot of the millennials and the young people to watch him, and he's actually been moving stock prices. He's been just day trading stocks, and he'll live stream it, he'll talk about a stock, and he'll move a price on it. So he's been approached quite a bit lately by financial, companies in finance, and because they want to probably use these guys for marketing now. So the Winklevoss Twins, though, being large entrepreneurs in the Bitcoin space, they actually went on a live stream with him. So now the Winklevoss Twins have gained the audience of Barstool Sports and the millennial audience, the Robinhood traders, and now they have taught them how to buy Bitcoin on the Gemini app through the president of Barstool Sports here, who's a large influencer. What does this mean for the market? Why is that significant? I think it's, you look at that, and for me it's comedy. I'm not putting a lot of attention into this, but it's important because of the actual marketing here. If you've paid attention, the only people buying, well, if you've been listening to myself or the Nonconformist, a lot of the market lately for people that have been buying the stock market has been Robinhood. They've been millennials, the younger generation. Now, if you start teaching them how to trade crypto, or you get their interest into Bitcoin, it becomes very easy for them to start using these apps to buy and sell crypto. So this is a genius viral marketing play in my mind. It's a pathway to adoption. So we definitely accept this here, and we welcome it at adoption. And this is a way to just touch another audience, the millennials, the ones that will adopt crypto first, and teach them how to do it, and then get them on board and get them buying. So very cool update. Definitely check that video out if you want. I will say this, though. They get into a lot of the alts. Of course, here we believe in Bitcoin as the one, the only. If you're getting into the market, it is the digital gold. Learn how to keep yourself private. We cover a privacy section on adoption as well. It should be known that right now in the current state, Bitcoin can be linked to your identity, and that's up to you to decide if you want that or not, based on your financial preferences and what you want for your own data privacy. But there are ways for you to just create a wallet in an anonymous manner and kind of safeguard your financial assets, and we help people out with that as well on adoption. But if you like what you've heard, if you want the actual updates for these, please go to adoption or adoptobitcoin.com, and you can subscribe to our newsletter there. You'll find we also have a service section, so if you're a business or if you are a high net worth individual or someone that's looking to gain exposure to crypto, definitely let us know, and we'll teach you what you need to do, and we'll steer you in the right direction, or if we can't take care of it for you. But that's it. This is This Week in Bitcoin. Today's date is August 21st, 2020. Take care, everyone. I hope you have a wonderful day.